It is late October and we are headed out to do a frack. It's a little bit nippy outside this morning. I'm just going over the truck to make sure everything's good, all the tires are up. Haven't fracked in a few months, so we want to make sure everything's good. But we've already started the frack motor, so we know that that's good. We got plenty of fuel. We bought brand new batteries because we had an issue with the batteries last time with inflating the packer. So we've got to travel about 45 minutes to go hit this well. Another well driller drilled it to 400 feet and it doesn't make enough water. So we're gonna go out there today and push on it and see if we can make it make more water, and then we'll go out there in a couple more days and drop a pump in it and do a pump test. And I'll show you that process as well in another video. But we're gonna go ahead out now and we're gonna frack one. I have no idea where we're going because we've never been here before since the other well driller drilled it. But we are now off of a state maintained road and on a privately paved road. So I have no idea where we're headed. Alright, so we have found it. We just came here to this open field, but apparently the well is over there, kind of behind where they're standing. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull forward and back into spot. Alright, well, Mike's getting in spot. I wanted to see what it was I was backing into because I couldn't see nothing with my mirror. But apparently it's all grown up. So I don't know if they just drilled this, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like they drilled this quite a while ago. See if there's even a tag on the well. No tag, ain't that some stuff? That's terrible. Hello? Okay, well, it's got a static level. All right, first thing we're gonna do is take the weed whip and the old brush axe and clean this area up. Now, one thing we noticed, the casing is about 30 inches tall, so we gotta go ahead and take the saws off. We gotta cut that down so it'll be easier for the packer to get in. You can look at the thickness of the casing over here versus right here where the drill rod had been rubbing against it. It's kind of wild. All right, we're gonna go ahead, finish up here, and then we're gonna back the frack into spot. And the next thing we gotta do is camera the well. It looks like they're in bedrock. But so unfortunately for y'all, I don't have a memory card right here. It's still sitting in my computer at home, so I can't show you the visual from recording this. But right here we're looking at, that's where the casing meets the bedrock. But basically I just got to go down. Oh, my bad, I pulled it up. So that right there, you can see that's where the granite and the casing meet together. And right now we're only at 21 foot. All right, we are currently 62 feet and you can see inside the borehole. Relatively decent, even though I'm filming a screen. But it's just been a nice, pretty smooth borehole the whole journey down. Notice a little bit of like discoloration. If we go down, the particles have caught up with me. Now we're at 70 feet. And we can see a little bit of like brown discoloration.
It's probably your iron.
Yeah, it's probably iron. But a perfectly smooth borehole. Looks great. Now, I had a few people ask me what is fracking and how does this work. So I'm gonna do a quick 1-minute summary of how this actually functions. So we've got a gasoline powered 4-cylinder here with a 4-speed transmission. We can adjust how fast we spin the pump by what gear we put the transmission in. We've got a 5-to-1 reducer belt drive with 5 belts that spins a gigantic 3-piston water pump. That water pump is fed by a 550-gallon tank from the orange line. Water comes in, this pump spins and pressurizes water. Water exits the hydraulic hose, and then it goes to the hydraulic reel. Once it gets to the hydraulic reel, That is where the high pressured water comes out of the hose here and travels down through the middle of this packer here that is going to be lowered into the well. And then the high pressured water exits here. Now what happens with this piece is it's like a hydraulic cylinder. It's going to get lowered in the well, and this rubber piece here is going to be swollen up, and it's going to lock off into the rock of the well, and that's going to make it solid. So it's going to separate above and below, and it will not move. So then anything below this point here is going to see all the pressurized water coming out of here, and all the pressurized water is going to pressurize the entire bottom portion of the well, and in turn it's going to blow out any of the stopped up well veins that's stopped up with sediment and grit that's preventing them from flowing water naturally. Now it's not actually going to fracture the rock, it's just going to take, you know, 2,500 psi or 1,500 psi, whatever it takes to bust the sediment loose from the veins to where they flow a little bit more freely. But this is our setup. This is homemade. They have frac machines that they sell for about $225,000, and other people use solid steel pipe. They go down the well with it. Other people use drill rods in their drilling rig, but we just use a 2-inch hydraulic hose and this big giant reel. So next thing we got to do is back it up into the well, and we're going to pick this thing up with the little crane here, and we're going to lower it in the well, and we're going to start the fracking process. No, we got to have the green one. All right, got it first try. Just a smidge. Perfect. Pull on the cable. Okay. Over here to me.
Hey Phil, have we got some tape over there, sir?
Yes. All right, we just finished lowering the packer into the hole, and we got our mark on our pipe here, and that is our 50-foot mark. So we've got the packer sitting at 50 foot, and we got to go now. I'm going to crank the frac motor. I'm going to let it idle up, let it warm up, and while we wait, I got to flood the well full of water, get all the air out of the well, and then we inflate the packer and we start the process. Now this is kind of the old school method. You know, you hear people putting dynamite in a well, you hear people putting dry ice in a well. This is a more controlled version of that. And this thing purrs like a kitten to be a 1982. I gotta flow a little bit of water. Got my valve off over there. Go ahead and pull my clutch in. Now I'm in first gear. Now I'm pumping water down the hole at a very, very slow rate. Probably flowing in at like 4 or 5 gallons a minute. But what I gotta do, I gotta get all of the air pressure, or all the trapped air out of the pump and out of the hydraulic line and all the way down into the well. So basically we just flow it long enough until water comes out of the top of the well. Because, you know, a liquid, you cannot compress a liquid. That's how you get your pressure. But you can compress air. So you want to get all the air out of the well and out of any of the system, or you'll get like a jerk and a cavitation effect. That's what we don't want. All right, so we flooded all the air bubbles out. You can kind of see the air bubbles coming out, and any little pieces of PVC from where we cut the casing. So what we're doing now, Dad's over here inflating the packer. Everything looks good. We got brand new batteries over there. I like that. Oh, you got them both in there?
Yeah, we got
cool.
both in there.
I got you.
But we got both in there.
Awesome. Yeah, I meant to put one up front with that, but
Okay.
we really need it back here for this, because that's a big motor to run off 12 volts. $1,200. $13. 14. All right, we're at 15. Good deal. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna let the packer kind of settle in because the pressure will reduce a little bit, but basically it's just swelling up against the rock borehole right now.
Like that.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we just finished hitting it for about 10 minutes, and the resting pressure is around 250. It started off at around 1500 psi, and then it dropped down to about 1000. So after about 10 minutes, we've used a little over 500 gallons of water. So mathematically, we were injecting, around 40 to 50 gallons a minute down the hole. But it was very, very tight. A whole lot of pressure, and the engine did not like it. Even in first gear, the engine didn't like it. But I was able to switch to second gear. Luckily second gear took it, and that's when I started noticing my pressure drop. But the motor does not like running at such an extreme load. But I'm just giving the tank time to refill right now, and give the engine a little time to cool off. It really wasn't running that hot. So we're just going to let the water tank fill back up, and we'll hit it again here in a minute. All right, we just finished with the second run. We got a high pressure of 750, so that's good. The first run started at 1500, went down to 1000. In the second run, it went up to 750. So now I'm relieving the pressure in the well, and I'm going to hit it now for a third time and see what we get. The tank has just about filled all the way up. Got a little bit to go, but I'm going to go ahead now. We're only holding about 125 psi in the bore, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it again. Okay, well, we're completely out of water. We emptied 1,400 gallons out of that and 500 gallons out of this. What'd you say that took, about 45 minutes?
Yeah, I'd say roughly.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bleed off all the pressure. while we wait. Well, we are letting the water pressure go back into the big black tank here, and we just kind of got to wait for the pressure to neutralize before we can release the pressure that's in the packer, or all the pressure trapped down the hole will shoot and eject the packer out of the well. So, you know, we didn't drill this well, so we didn't know much about it. I don't even know how much water it actually made because the driller didn't put any information on it. But we are here, and tomorrow we're going to be drilling the well right next door. So we have the ability to go deeper than 400 feet, and the other driller, that's all the drill rod he had. So once they cut 400 feet, that's it for them. But a lot of times we'll find water, you know, between 450 and 600 feet sometimes. So it you know, it's not good to stop at 400 feet, especially in our area. But region to region, all that changes. You know, some wells go to 1,000 foot, other wells go to 80 foot. So it just depends on where you're at and what region you're in. But out here, they hit water so early. I mean, they hit granite so early, they should have carried the hole deeper. But if they didn't have drill rod, they couldn't. So that's why they're fracking. But I guess that's probably why we got the well next door, because we have the ability to go to over 1,000 feet. Granted, we rarely ever go past 800, but we'll come out here tomorrow and we'll drill the well next door. While we're drilling the next door well, we're going to come over here, and I'm going to put a pump in this, and we're going to pump test it and see what this well actually makes. What I learned is the well sat here for 4, 5, 6 months, and it finally filled up with water. So the well probably makes, I don't know, 40, 50, 80, 100 gallons in a day. But we don't know. It didn't make enough for them to be able to register or measure anything from the drilling rig. So we don't really have a before number. We just know it didn't make enough at all to supply anything. Once we do this pump test here, we're still in the beginning phases of it, we'll know a little bit more in about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But they drilled the well here on the property that you see behind me. Now, if I turn 180 degrees and you look kind of right back in this area, I'll zoom in here on a second. So they went ahead and hired us to drill the other well on the other side of the property. What I believe is they're going to build 2 dwellings here. You know, maybe one for the parents, one for the kids, or father and son, something like that. But the reason why they hired us to drill that well is because we had the capability of going to 1,000 feet, where the other well driller only had 400 feet of drill rock. Now, we don't know if there is natural water found below 400 feet here. But what we do know is that this well over here is 400 feet and it makes no water. So we had to frack it. Typically what we like to do in a frack is we like to drill it a lot deeper. And then once we get to 600 or 800 foot, then we try to hydro-frack it. So they went ahead and hired us to drill that well over there. We already know we're probably going to have to go deep. So we have the ability to do so. If need be, if we don't hit water naturally over there, then we'll hydro-frack that one too. But the homeowner wanted us to perform a pump test so we would know precise numbers as to how much water we hit over here. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'll catch back up with you here in a few seconds, and I'll let you know what the results are of this pump test. This is our new meter. We're going to go ahead and give it a try. Steady going down. All right, we've been pumping it for about, I don't know, a little over 40, 45 minutes, and we've drawn the water level down to almost 170 foot at this point. So in about 20 more feet, we will get the water level to the entry of the intake of the pump. Once we get it to that point, I don't want to let the well pump run dry for too long, but I'll let it run dry for about 5 to 10 minutes to see if it can balance itself out and give me exactly what the well's producing. If it's producing like 2, 3, or 4 gallons per minute, it'll balance itself out. But if it produces like 1.5 gallons a minute, it'll run out, it'll run dry for about 3 minutes. The water level will have to get back above the stack of the pump, and then it'll spit me out, you know, a few gallons of water. So if I let it do that a few times, I can calculate how many times it does it, how much water it gives me, and in how many minutes, and then from there, it'll tell me the gallon per minute. But got a little bit more along to go. We're almost there. Feel like the day's just dragging on, but that's part of a pump test. Just time consuming. All right, I noticed she was running out, so I want to sit here and see what it does. It ain't bad. I mean, I sat here for 3 minutes and it peed out a little stream, and then it picked up and started doing this. I bet you it makes somewhere around 2.5 to 3 gallons a minute. Yep. But we're gonna cut off the generator here in a second, and we're gonna calculate recovery rate, and we'll see what it makes. Turn the key off. All right. Well, that's actually pretty good news. So now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna check our water level. And it should be around 190 foot. Go ahead and turn this on. See if we can get a good visual. Come on, baby. 180.1, and it is 320. So we're at 180 feet at 320. We're gonna come back in 10 minutes and see what it's at. All right, it is now 3:30. I'm gonna go ahead and check it again. 163.3. All right, 163.3. All right, so I just did quick math. We're gonna sit here and monitor the recovery rate for another 10 minutes, but at 320, the water level was at 180 feet. At 325, the water level was at 169.5 feet. And at 330, the water level was at 163.3 feet. So that made a total of 25.05 gallons in 10 minutes. So what that means is the well produces 2.5 gallons per minute at the 180 foot mark. So being that this well is 400 feet, if you were to lower a pump deeper into the well and you were to take the equivalent head pressure of the water off of it, the well might make somewhere around 3 gallons per minute. Now, this is great results compared to what the well driller told us on the phone that it made. He said it made an unmeasurable amount of water. So, and you know, as a well driller, I know you can measure about a quart a minute, and anything less than that, it can blow the hole dry. And the only way of measuring as a driller, you have to shut the rig off, mark your time in the evening, come back the next morning and see how full the well became. That's the only way that you can tell with a well that doesn't produce, you know, and when it produces an unmeasurable amount. So the Hydro-Frack was a success. It makes 2.5 gallons per minute, and I think it'll run probably any house that they're gonna put out here. This is gonna be a lakeside property, so as long as they don't build a 5,000 square foot mansion and do a lot of irrigation, they'll be all right. So we got a 400 foot hole, makes 2.5 gallons a minute. I'm gonna say that's a success. All right, so I don't know where I'm gonna throw this in the video at, but from Hydro-Fracking the well next door, we were drilling the well right across the way. You saw that in the video. Now, I mentioned in the video that the other well driller stopped at 400 foot. And the reason why these people hired us is because we have the ability to go deeper. We don't typically like to stop at 400 foot. We like to continue on because the likelihood of hitting water deeper is actually pretty high compared, you know, to just stopping and moving. Now, I'm going to show you exactly why you drill deeper. We just finished next door doing the pump test, and Dad's over here at 600 feet, and he just hit big water. So now, you will not have to hydro-frack this well at all, and you won't have to go any deeper. Now the well over here naturally makes enough water to supply any household all the water needs that they could want. And he hit it naturally. Look at it all, just pouring out of the bottom of it. We were over there messing with it, and he sent me a text message, and he says, "I just got big water at 600 foot." So he probably hit it somewhere around 590, because he's right at 605 right now. But I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna see if we need to come back tomorrow and bring 2 more drill rods, or if he really did hit it at 600 foot. If he hit it, you know, at 585, 590, that'd be all right. But we don't want the main water bearing zone to be 5 foot off the bottom. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop here and get out and see what we find. Well, we're all done for the day. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. It's going to be quite a long video. But I always shoot about 1.5 hours of footage to 2 hours of footage, and then I edit it down. So I'm not sure how long it'll be, but if you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The sun is starting to set, boys. The sun is starting to set. See y'all on the next one.